Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a quick review on the Kimber Desert Warrior 1911 chambered in 45 ACP. So stick around and let's check it out. Before we get started, the magazines I'm going to use today are going to be empty and the firearm has been cleared. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, and here we have it, the Kimber Desert Warrior 1911. So this is an all-metal gun. The slide and the frame are metal, and this has, for today's purposes, we're going to call them lock grips. I don't know what company these grips are from, but just because they remind me of lock grips, we'll go with that. Some plastic grips on it. And this is finished. The slide and the grip frame are finished in the flat dark earth. So let's go ahead and go through some of the features, and with the muzzle pointed to the left, we're going to go ahead and start at the top of the slide. You'll find the single white dot sight, and then as you slide down to the rear of the slide, you'll find a U-cut 2-dot sight, and this does have the firearm's pretty dirty right now, but it does have the little green night glow inside each of the sights. I'll give you a quick sight picture right there. Now if we go back to the front, the muzzle end of the gun, along the side of the slide, you'll find some pretty standard 1911 serrations, and then right in the middle of the slide you'll find the Kimber name engraved into the slide, and then on the rear, pretty standard 1911 serrations, and then at the back of the slide you'll find a skeletonized hammer, which has a half cock option and a full cock option, and then we'll get to the trigger pull a little bit later in the video. One thing I did want to mention about the finish on this, maybe it's because it's got the flat dark earth paint on it as opposed to stainless steel, but it's really slippery when you slide your fingers down it. Now I haven't cleaned this gun yet, and I haven't fired it yet, so it may just be, you know, some stuff that's on it to protect the finish that's made it so slippery. But normally on the 1911, when you slide your fingers past the serrations, you at least catch on them, and my fingers slide right past the front serrations, and on the back it'll catch if you pinch down real hard. But I've got other guns where as soon as you slide your finger and you hit the serrations, your fingers stop and give you a nice firm grip. So that's one thing that I would say is a big negative on this, is the slide is really slippery. So once again, once I get it cleaned up, it may take away some of that, but I believe that the finish on there has caused it to become really slippery. Either way, so let's get back to the muzzle end on the grip frame. At the bottom of the grip frame, there's a 3 Picatinny spot. So if you have a light that has one rail, you can put it into pretty much anywhere, and the cut on the top is pretty deep, so you can fit just about any size light or whatever you need to on the grip frame there. And then it does have this big like horseshoe cutout. Not really too sure what that's for. I've never looked into that, but maybe there's some type of attachment that I'll fit in there. As you come back the grip frame, you'll come to the slide release, and this is also your takedown lever, so we'll get to that in a little bit later on in the video. And as you slide back through the rest of the grip frame, you'll come to the manual safety. So if you flip it up once while the hammer's not cocked, you'll come into a what I call the slide safety, so you can't manipulate the slide. And then if the hammer is cocked, you can put it into a full trigger safety, and then flip it down and pull your trigger. Then at the back of the grip frame is going to be your standard beaver tail and your standard grip safety on your 1911. Right below the grip safety on the 1911, you'll find some checkering on the back strap, which I think is pretty good. Fits in your hand really well, and it feels pretty smooth. But once again, on the front of the grip frame, there is no checkering there, and the finish is pretty slick, so you definitely have to worry about losing your grip on there. Now, like I said, what we're going to call the lock grips, these are green and black. They have the angle cuts on the back side and on the front side, closest to the trigger. It's kind of like the golf ball dimples. You can get a really good grip on those, and just on the left side, right in front of the magazine release, is a little cutout for your thumb, which feels pretty natural as you lay your hand down in there. And we'll go ahead, and since we're there, we'll talk about the magazine release. This has 2 single stack 8-round magazines, and this is another spot that I'm a little bit down on the firearm. When you put it in, the magazine release is really intuitive. You can get a good grip on the gun, and not have to worry about dropping the mag. But as soon as you put any pressure on the mag, it drops right out, which is really nice. I like that. But what I don't like is the way it looks right there. Down at the bottom, it's pretty skinny, and you can see the rest of the bottom of the magazine wall kind of showing, and then the grip's sticking out. So it just looks a little bit funny to me. Not that I have a problem with it, but just aesthetically it looks a little funny to me. So let's go ahead and get into the trigger. This has got a solid trigger on it, and on the face of the trigger it's got some grooves in it to give you a nice grip. And then if you feel at the bottom of the trigger, you'll find a hole right there, and that's so you can adjust for the travel of your trigger. Now I haven't shot this yet, so I haven't adjusted the trigger yet, but we'll go ahead, and this is a single action only. Pretty standard for a 1911. We'll go ahead and with the hammer on full cock, give you an idea, get my thumb out of the way. Just a little tiny bit of wall right there, and then a real smooth, easy break. And you just slap it just a little bit. It's pretty sensitive right now. Like I said, I haven't shot it yet, so once I get to shooting it, if I need to adjust it, I will. And then we'll go ahead and show the reset for you. The reset, the travel's really short, and another clean break on the wall. I do like the feel of the trigger. Once I put a few rounds through it, if I need to adjust it, I will. And that's pretty much it. So there's the Kimber Desert Warrior 1911. Pretty standard, same way you could take down a 1911. If you've never seen a video on how to take down a 1911 and you want me to make one, then I'll go ahead and do that, or I can refer you to other videos where people take them apart. I'm just not going to go through that on this video. So thank you for watching. If you like, leave a few comments down below, and see you next time.